And now you're on. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Andy.
Hey Scott, thanks a lot, buddy. Hello, Jamie.
Andy, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. Not too many complaints over here, except for the crappy back and forth market, but that's okay. Um, it's all I can say. It's an ugly baby, Jamie, but it's our baby, right?
Yeah, and we're kind of used to it so far, here
Exactly.
lately. Is it going to be a crappy day with volume or a crappy day without volume?
Yeah,
That's really what it's come down to here lately.
yeah, exactly. And until we get out of this rain, we'll talk about that in the market recap. But hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it, and let's just dive right in. And before we do, let's go over the disclaimer, guys. Jamie and I are going to be talking about some stocks and some charts and some ideas, but nothing that you hear or see should be construed as investment advice. Okay, we're just content providers, and this is for educational purposes only. All right, so if you are seeking investment advice, look for a registered advisor or a stockbroker, somebody who hangs a license. All right, let's talk a little bit about our 5-star support and education and training for the new people in here, because I'm sure they've probably got wind that this is a very good software and it's very powerful, but at times, for some people, it can be a little daunting, and it's our job to show you that you shouldn't be afraid of it, because it's quite intuitive. And once you get to just playing around with it for few days, you'll find that boy, it's not difficult to use at all. And we have many sources to help you understand this. Okay, the Traders Room, Barry. This is a free trading room for everybody. You can come in and look at the software on Barry's screen and listen to him navigate the market. And also, there's tons of really good traders in there sharing ideas. And not only that, Barry is great about fielding any questions that you might have. I get so many people will come to me and asking, for help about something Barry's doing. I'll say, listen, just ask him. And they'll come back later and say, man, you're right. Barry helped me. And Barry has told me, man, he loves doing that. He loves helping you with the software. So great source right there in the Traders Room. And then we have webinars throughout the week where we will not only show you the software, but we'll field questions as well. A great one for that is the Q&A and the demo on Wednesdays by our CEO, Dan Merkin, and CTO, Brad Williams. And then the other 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, it's a juggling act between Jamie, Steve, and myself. So plenty of content, plenty of resources to get education and training in those. And boy, probably the best kept secret, and I shouldn't even call it a secret because we try to pump it as much as we can, but that Friday support session, if you are available at 11 a.m. on Eastern time on Friday, get in there, because it's just an open forum, and we have myself, Jamie, Sean, Steve, all of us in there fielding questions, anything that you might have about the software, and we talk about trading as well. If you have questions about trading, great place to get to come in and watch. All right, we also have TI University. This is a 4-part course starting every Monday at 12 Eastern time, and it graduates from beginner to advanced. These are all 1-hour curriculums, and we have a Q&A that opens up afterwards. If you can't make this, these are also recorded on our YouTube page. I love telling people that, just because I think it's good for even subscribers who may have been here a couple of months to go back and watch these. You're going to learn something by going through these. Maybe the basic stuff and you want to go into intermediate 301 or advanced and learn some more advanced stuff. But they're out there. There's a lot of good stuff on our YouTube channel. Just go find Trade Ideas and you will see it. All right, boy, guys, Jamie and I have been banging on this paper trader a lot over the last month. We are almost there. I'm telling you, I haven't had any issues the last 3 days. Jamie thought he had one today, but it was just
That's what we call user error, Andy.
Yeah, there we go. I wasn't going to throw you like that, throw you under the bus like
Hey,
that.
no,
But
I mean,
no.
hey, that just goes to show you, we still make mistakes as well with
Sure.
configurations and all the same mistakes that everybody else makes.
I do it all the time. Yep.
Yeah, and so in the end, I'm happy that it was my error because there's not really a bug. Yay.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
which
Yep.
which going to your point, yeah, it's getting pretty close to release.
Yep. Real close to release, guys, and you guys are going to be excited about that. You asked what can I do with a paper trader? Well, I listed them all there for you. You can test your trading, your strategies, your portfolio management skills directly within Trade Ideas. You do not need a broker connection, okay? You do not need to fund an account. You use a really cool interface called our Brokerage Plus. We're going to be spending a lot more time on this in the coming weeks as we launch this. So we'll have some webinars dedicated solely to this. So really, and the last comment there, it is coming real soon, because take it from somebody who's testing it, it is really tight now. So hopefully, maybe next week, you guys will get to do some paper trading. All right. The agenda for today. All right, we're going to have the market recap like we always do. Holly recap. I'll have some thoughts on that. This is just some minor thoughts before I pass it over to Jamie. Then I got three. Let's see. One is an alert, and two of them are a top list that I'm going to go over and share with you. Nothing earth-shattering, but I think some of you guys may like it. One of them is called "I'll Sell That." I'm sure probably a few of you guys can figure out what that is. It's the flip of "I'll take that," and we're going to take a look at that. And I think it can give you some good ideas on a market like this. This is a market, I think, especially if you're doing some swing trading, where going contrarian. Jamie and I are both trying this, and in our paper trading accounts, because there's no momentum in this market. You can't go. We're not going anywhere. So this is where a contrarian approach can help out. We'll talk about that. And then I got a couple of other just ideas of how maybe you can find good stocks that have been beaten up, that have good revenue growth, and then also one for good earnings growth. Pretty simple, but hey, sometimes simple is best. So, all right, let me back out. Pull up the SPY. It's already on there. I'm watching trade and after hours trading up on more Trade Talk. Boy, I'm going to be so happy when they get that ironed out. I think we all will. So
you got that right, because
here
it's like a force that used to not be there. You're like, okay, is he going to tweet about the trade tariffs? I mean, is Powell going to speak? Oh, is Powell going to speak? Or are they going to tweet about the trade tariffs? Oh yeah, and then the market. So yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you, lots of things can come from left field.
Exactly. Yeah. And well, let's take a look at what we got. Guys, it's just been a mess, and once again, I'm drawing these lines. It's horizontal line there. This is kind of our downside. You could include the wicks. That's up to you. Sometimes what I like to do is just kind of get the bodies on the major average, and then if it closes, down into these wicks. But you can see where we are. We're at the upper part. We tried to poke through today, and we came back, closed right back in this range, right below this all-important pivot line. I could probably make that a little bit higher there, but it doesn't have to be exactly precise. But what I'm more concerned about when it comes to charts, pivot lines are for sure major, but also trend lines. You can see I drew this trend line in here, and looks like we're probably gapping up right now in after hours right at this trend line. It's going to be interesting, if we hit that tomorrow, what's going to happen. I think what's probably more important is we close above that trend, because if we close above that trend line, we're back above at least, three of the major averages, and really only dealing with this 20 period right now. So, boy, it feels to me, I was telling Jamie today, yesterday morning, I kicked in my long strategy, and I don't have it up. I actually closed it down because my internet's not all that great here, and I didn't need all that data right now to bogging me down. But to just tell you what I've done, I turned that long strategy on that's looking for a type of reversal, and probably fired about 15, 16 trades yesterday and today, and not really performing, even though I put them in work right here yesterday, and we had a decent move in the market. Boy, I'm not getting a lot of performance. I think it was basically about flat, which was surprising. So a lot of times I'll use that as maybe a kind of a gauge of the market, even though I'm seeing this action in the major averages, like there could be a lot of deterioration going on. And when I point to Holly today, you see the top 3 performers were shorts. So those are the kind of barometers, I'll use to gauge, and it just doesn't feel like there's just, a whole lot of power, in this upward push we've had the last couple of days. I'll be real, I'll be surprised if it just blows through this downward, trend line. Even if I don't even know if we're going to gap up tomorrow. I'm just saying if we hit that trend line, it may wick. I'm just saying I'd be surprised. I'm not trying to predict what's going to happen. All I can say is we're in this range, and once we get up here, we're in this range, and we've been in this for basically 4 months now. So, it feels like we're possibly going lower to me, but guys, I don't know. And you don't guess too much when it comes to trading. Okay, you react. I can tell you right now in my little account that we're trading, I got a couple longs and a couple of shorts, and they're both working. So, or they're all 4 working, I should say. So, but it all has to do with when you enter a trade. But getting back, Jamie, and IWM today, it didn't, no power there. You can see that tried to go up, got slammed down by the fast line and closed closer, to the lower end, kind of a, a shooting star there, if you would. So Qs actually were, I think, a little bit stronger last I looked, probably because Netflix held up a little bit today, but doesn't have the same shape as the spiders. I guess somebody could argue that the trend line was, not really. I'm not seeing a really defined trend line there. You'd almost have to go back here. Yeah, I'm just not seeing one here. Got rejected by the 20 period there, but a little bit more strength, I think, in the last couple of days anyway, in the Qs and in the spiders, but nothing to write home about for sure. But Jamie, that's about it. What are your thoughts? No volume. You can see once again the downside volume is stronger. These up moves, and even today, look how anemic that volume was. Relative volume, and the SPY was, basically I guess that's average.
Yeah, sure. Just right on the button on the Qs, a 1, and then 0.99 on the SPY. So, yeah, what's happening after the market now? It sure wouldn't surprise me if we gapped up. And then the question is, do we hold it or just come right back down to where we were? It being a Friday and all, but who knows? That's just my gut feeling.
It's when I see our little fun that we got going on over there, and I see a lot of the shorts that are working just fine, even though these last 2 days of it just makes me think, I don't know, if we do break out of this downward trend and break up, I just, like, once again, I am not, it's hard to get excited about this market because we haven't been able to go anywhere in a very long time. So maybe that'll change. I don't know. Maybe the trade talks will finally happen and get that out of the way. That'll be one thing. And who knows? We'll maybe just shoot straight up.
Andy, and since we've been,
I doubt it, but
since we've been sending all these orders through Brokerage Plus, I just came to the realization it allows you to go out there and collect information in a whole different way, right? Because here we are,
really
not that far away from all-time highs. But when you go, okay, well, this looks like a good momentum strategy, like for example, turbo breaks up, right? Window that everybody's probably heard about. Well, I've been conducting some experiments, and letting it short these plays because everything's just bubbling at the surface. There's not really a whole lot of follow through is what this data is telling me, right? So there's always going to be stocks hitting those all-time highs, but most of them are just kind of fizzling out. Just like what you always say, no conviction, we got up there, but no conviction, turn around, put the wick up at the top. And, how much longer are we going to be in this situation? Who knows?
Yep. But Brian, to answer your question there, yeah, there's no way to predict gap ups or gap downs. What those usually are, it's a sign of overnight news, whether it be earnings or maybe some sort of good news for a company. That's typically what a gap is, something that came out after hours. So there's really no way to predict that. Wish there was.
Oh, and if anybody has that method, please share it with me.
Yeah, share it with us for sure.
We were just having a discussion the other day, Andy, about market directional trading and gap trading. I mean, some of the hardest things to do,
Oh yeah, sure. You just never know, I think you can position yourself. A lot of times a chart will kind of present itself as something is about to happen. A good example, and one that I was in and I sold this morning, was Roku. This was a trade of the week that I collaborated on with Steve. Asked me what do I like, and I said, well, Roku's been beaten up, and I think there's if the market does sell off, I think that it's had its beat up already. But anyway, it was setting up there nicely, and when you get those setups, a lot of times they will present themselves to a favorable chart pattern that sometimes is followed by a gap. So I think a lot of times, Brian, you can kind of look for patterns that are setting up, but a lot of it's just luck once you do get those. But that's the best thing I can think of as far as how to potentially find a gap is look for good setups, and then maybe you get some good luck. But be careful with earnings for sure. All right, Jamie. Yeah, before I just wanted to point this out. Interesting that today, Holly, the top 3 trades on today were all shorts. Okay, even though we had a market. Let me close this up. And also, I'm going to point out something else about these, market that ran up this morning.
Risk on
and really didn't sell off that much. I'm sorted on risk off, closed. Yep, risk off,
okay,
profit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and look what all 3 of these, they're shorts, and a couple of putting on the brakes. Actually, you had another putting on the brake down here, which are fading strategies, and these are actually momentum trades to the downside, even though you're not really a chase, but just looking for that momentum. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out that they're interesting in this market that was up today, that the 3 top trades there were all shorts. And there were plenty of longs out there.
I'm sorry, Andy, you must have that country internet delay going there. I keep stepping on you.
I do.
But that correlates with what I've been seeing, where I'm just countering. I've got a blotter full of shorts only. And in this environment, on a green day, 75% of those positions are in the green, So, we're seeing it through Holly the AI, we're seeing it in our other little paper trading experiments. And over time, that can really kind of give you a whole new perspective on the conditions of the market, right? It's pretty exciting.
Right. And well, not only that, Jamie, what it can prevent you from doing is when you're seeing this type of thing, it's not a market where you want to chase momentum. Not exactly. To say that you can't get lucky and hit one, but it's not one where I like to chase, highs, and it's just not happening really.
Right. It's all about the timing or the environment that you're in. Everything works at different times, right? Fading, going long, chasing momentum, if the environment is right. So, you know, in essence, we can use these tools in different ways to help us figure out, okay, what type of environment are we actually in? You know, should I be fading
Mm-hmm.
momentum or should I be chasing momentum? You know, timing is everything.
Exactly. And that's what the paper trading, guys, this is what it's going to allow you to do, is you're going to be able to put strategies and or even your gut feelings, you know, down on the paper, you know, on our Brokerage Plus module, and you're going to see for yourself. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like I like to tell people, it's almost like watching a back test in real time when you're applying your strategies. It's really kind of cool. But anyway, we won't. We'll move along. We're kind of getting caught up on this. I'll let Jamie take over and
Yeah, sure.
go over Holly real quick.
No problem. Let me just make an adjustment here. Okay, you should see Holly's blotter on my desktop, yes?
I do.
Okay, perfect. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to my desktop. We got the 15-minute intraday here going on the right. If we just take a quick glance over here at the channel bar and look at all the 3 different modules, we can see, you know, 30, 80, we'll call it, what was she up, 90 bucks if we do all the math here, and on 30 trades that we can see over here. So kind of a little bit over tradey in this type of environment. And interestingly enough, you know, you don't really see a whole lot of stop outs, but boy, today what we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stop outs. That's also a testament to market conditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we, you know, just pull the SPY back up here. Yeah, I mean, a lot of action here. Everybody's happy. Oh, we're breaking out. And then, you know, all the way back down and, you know, pretty violent little wick down there before finally heading back up. So, you know, the tree was definitely shaken. It wasn't just easy money on the longs, just holding. In any case, that's why some of the best winning trades we can see here are short trades today. Also kind of circling back around to what Andy and I were talking about earlier with me seeing the same thing. And let me share another little piece of information. You know, my favorite compare count window today, these were the readings after the first 15 minutes, which you might as well have 50-50. When you see this low of a bias one way or the other, then get ready for a market such as we saw today, right? So when you start stringing these things together, it can really put you in a really good frame of mind and go, okay, you know, hey, if we're surfing, are the waves lapping in at 3 feet, or we got 10 footers coming in, or anything in between? In any case, let's take a look at some of the risk off, risk on spread, taking a look at the risk off closed versus the risk on column that we can see here. If we got spread, you know, a larger value over here, well, then there's some spread in there. And we can talk about how you might be able to capture some of that. Let me go ahead and sort by risk on there. So take a look at this ICPT first. So Holly closed out 49 cents for the winner. We can see the shaded area right here. Left a little bit of money on the table, it appears. Let's see, what was the, max profit during the shaded area when we were spiked up here to the wick. 98 cents was on the table, but then get a little downturn here and profit save. So Holly saw the money getting smaller. As time grew on, she decided to call one of her audibles of profit save. Either that or reduced risk are the only other two. Those are the only 2 audibles that she can call if the position's either not working or vacillating like you see here. In any case, she exits right here. At that point in time, we can go with her, take her advice and go, you know what, Holly, I feel the same way. Take your 49 cents. Or you can elect to go risk on, which is simply staying in the trade when you see Holly closing it out in risk off mode. Because you still like it for whatever reasons might be out there. We can see here, this one pretty much the 10 period kind of acted as the guide here, you know, on that little downtick. Couldn't quite break it, bounces right up, man, get a big run. If you just held it 1 candle longer than Holly, then you were at the juiciest spot of the day and could have made your decision to get out. Because what we're seeing here at $1.15 is in the close, right? So we were not significantly, but another smidge higher here. So even more than what we can see going into the close. Unfortunately, if you tried to stay in this one with a break-even stop, it would have got you out. You would have had to have stuck to this hardcore value over here, hard stop. But once again, leading up to the first 15 minutes, the compare counts, things of that nature, you'd be prepared and go, okay, I just got to stick to my hard stops today, not try to finesse anything too much. World Wrestling, I still have a hard time accepting the fact that this is actually a publicly traded company, but
Yeah.
oh well. A little bit more of a spread here. What do we have? An extra 43 cents on the table, it appears. 16 versus 59. This one a little bit easier to call here. We got a nice entry right here from Holly. We just kind of hug the entry line, get up nicely here, kind of vacillate, all while adhering to that 10 period once again. And Holly not making the timeliest exit, not up here, but more down here, and takes her 16 cents. But hey, this trade's done nothing but act relatively good since we've been in it. Get above the entry line here, still stay above it, so could have stayed in this one with a break-even stop, barely, and enjoyed the rest of the show. Also, it's enjoying a little action in the post-market as well, it appears. So a nice spread there. Not a bad 30-cent spread here on one of the shorts in HAAQ. Not a bad entry up here. Get a little bit of a wiggle, but no stop out. Got pretty close, but no cigar. At which point, in the following candle, right back down to the entry line, kind of vacillate around it a little bit. But notice what happens when we come down here and start flirting with this 10 period. We do stay below it, but Holly closing it out right here for a whopping 17 cents. This one, once again, break-even stop isn't going to do it. Circling back around to the nature of the day, no big surprise. Stick to your hard stops. Once we got out of the danger zone here, never really had to worry about it. And even this little guy experiencing some green action in the post-market. All right, so, well, I guess we should do this one as well because, well, 0 is 0 versus 32. So just a good old-fashioned flat, as I like to say. Been there, done that a gazillion times since I started pushing buttons. Andy, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about there.
Oh, yeah.
You just get bored or you're like, it's going to go down. I'm just going to get out. Classic example right here. I mean, wow. Talk about just flatlining from the whole time. But hey, not necessarily a bad thing, Holly sticks it out for about 30 minutes and gets bored and closes it out. And it pretty much does that for the remainder of the day. Doesn't really, go do anything until, boom, the last 45 minutes of the market. But if you persevered, you were rewarded and not coming really, after we get out of this area here, man, just goes to sleep. But you know what? Using these candle bodies here, if you were tuned into this stock and you had a little piece and you saw it doing this all day on a 15-minute timetable, man, it's not that big of a stretch to go, you know what? If it breaks here, maybe I'll load into a little bit more. Check it out. It actually finished with a pretty decent relative volume number today. And of course, the broker dealers, they're going to have some bounce or some play in them, whether it's to the upside or the downside, because of what happened not too long ago. There's still some digestion to be had from those gaps.
Sure.
That's pretty much it from the Holly highlights, I'd say. One more short here. I'll just point it out. I'm not going to go into great detail, Andy, because I know you got some things you want to share, and I don't want to eat up all the time here. But not a bad little short play in this TWU. Holly closes it out for a -2 cents and then 23 cents on the table, but even more during this time of the day right here.
Sure.
So for a kind of a flat spin the wheels day, there were still some, quality plays on the table if you were paying attention.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'll kick it back over to you.
All right. Thanks, Jamie. Stuff triggering after hours. Let me get a drink of water real quick. All right, guys. So what you may have noticed the difference between Jamie, how he had a few longs. He was showing you with just one share, basically just showing you straight up cents or dollars earned, where mine is based upon a let's just go take a look. All right, quit it. Mine is based upon a risk based on stop loss of $200. So obviously you can see my share size is a lot larger than what Jamie has. So that being the case, a lot of these stocks were smaller, a lot smaller than the stocks he was showing you. So you're able to go out and buy more shares. And that's why you would show, a larger percentage gain or, in risk off on these 3 shorts right here. Yeah, Waleed, I go back and forth. I change it from 100 to 200. I don't know why I do that. I'm probably showing somebody something, but yeah, right now I have it on 200. All right, so let's take a look. What I want to do is give you guys an idea of maybe how to play some good shorts, in a fading strategy. So if you can recall, those of you who are in here, this is, I'll take that, I'll thank you. Okay, let's take a look at the configuration of what I'm looking for. I really like this this window because it's totally contrarian, and it's taking advantage of weak hands on stock that has recently had a big move up. I say recently, we'll take a look at the configuration. It has to be up, change in 20 days, it has to be a minimum of 10%. Okay, so even now, okay, the alert is it's hitting a new low. Okay, so we know it's pulling back, hitting a new low. The change in the 20 days has to be up 10%, even though it's pulling back. So it's a good chance this was up 15 or 20% at one time. But it's coming down here, and this is kind of a little hack that I'm having to use right now to kind of find the 10-period moving average. We're going to have a 10-period moving average coming up real soon, but this is what I'm using, the change from the 8-day SMA, and I'm using this negative 0.05 and 0. This is going to put it pretty close, to the 10-period moving average in most cases.
Ah, interesting.
So yeah. So yeah, I had to just kind of typically on a momentum stock, almost every time the 8's going to be above the 10. So this way, I'm assuring it's below the 8, and it should be getting close to the 10. But anyway, yeah, so this is looking for stocks that are pulling back and looking for, let's find an example. I got some ETFs in here, probably should take that. Here's a great example, okay? Here's a stock over the last 20 days, okay? It's up over 10%, and today it pulled back, and look at that 10-period moving average. Kissed it perfectly right there, okay? So it's a contrarian play. You're buying weakness on a strong daily chart, even though if I look at the long term on this thing, it's not very strong, but I'm only looking for stocks that are, have had moved up recently, at least up 10% or more in the last 20 days. So I was asking myself, I was like, you know what? I want to find in this market, I'm not seeing a lot of momentum. Okay, so I want to find stocks that are weak, maybe that have sold off hard over the last 20 days, and now they're bouncing up into their 10-period moving average. Very easy to do just by doing the flip. In other words, just taking this, duplicating it, okay, and then going to configure and just hitting the good old flip button. Now you have stocks that are hitting a new high, okay, stocks where the price is down at least 10% in the last 20 days. These are just basic price and volume parameters. That's not going to change. So a nice little flip there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I've already renamed this, I'm just going to pull it up from I'll sell that. Okay, so this is the I'll sell that. And let's take a look at the configuration real quick again, just to make sure everything's right. These stocks are hitting a new high. And once again, change in 20 days has to be at least down, so that's negative 10%. Okay, and now they're bouncing up into their 10-period moving average. So let's take a look at some of these. Now, I'm not saying all these work today because the market really didn't, come in, but you're going to see what it's looking for. First of all, I'm going to go around 8:45, 8:50 mark. I don't like those very first 15 minutes in either direction. But let's take a look at some of these, started popping through here about, let's just see if it's working. LEA, it's a good one right here. Look at that, right there to a T. Came up here, at 8:50 and hit that 10-period moving average, and look what happened afterwards. You're being contrarian. That one actually did work. NOV, let's see what it did. There you got it. You got it right there at 2071. Came off a little bit. Could have definitely day traded this and made some money, but did bounce on the close a little bit. This one right here, kind of same thing. Got your trigger there. That one, once again, could have made some money, but I'm not looking for these for day trades. I'm looking for them for pockets. As a matter of fact, I will tell you one that I swing trade. I swung today, and this was WDC. Okay. Now, I'm not killing it by any means, but I did kind of catch it at the high, right at that 10-period moving average up here, and was in the money at the close a little bit. But once again, this is a swing trade. Look at this. You got the 10-period, you got the 50-period. May not work, okay, but I like my chances, okay? I'm putting the odds in my favor. This is a downward sloping stock that's bouncing right into some moving averages here, okay? This is the kind of stuff that I'm, kind of looking at. This is, I think, a pretty one right here. The CTL was textbook, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right there, just boop, touched it, triggered, and reversed. Once again, I'm not saying, these are all going to work, but what I am saying is this is the type of trading I want to be doing right now, especially in swing trading. Doing contrarian, not chasing, down here when it broke below this range and just bounced back up, that's the kind of stuff you got. As long as we're in this range, you got to really be careful in chasing in either direction. That doesn't mean some of the, news items where there's big volume. Yeah, those things can keep going up or down. But when you're just playing really, stocks that, there was a good one right there in Vonage, bounced right up, got it right there, and then kind of sold off. That would be an interesting level for me. So just the opposite of the I'll take that. When we get into, guys, you might want to take this, and I'll share it with you. Even though you could flip it real easy, but that's okay. I'm going to make it easier for you, and I'm going to grab it in here and share it with you. Let's see if there's any more decent looking ones in here. That one's not working, but once again, it's not down that much.
Hey, Andy, would you mind pulling up that CTL chart? Anthony just had a question about a possible entry point there.
Well, no, where I would short this, if I'm watching this and right when it comes out, I'm going to be shorting it as close to this 10-period moving average as I can. Once again, this is a fading strategy. One that I'm in right now also that is working, and I think I told you this the other day in another webinar, Jamie, is Chewy. Actually, this one, I'll take that back. This one was off one of my other scans. This is off my bounce up below the 50 and then rolling over. So I take that back. This was off another scan. But you can see what I'm talking about. It's a contrarian play. You're taking advantage of this move upward in a downtrending, awful looking stock, and you are, playing for the reversal. Getting back to CTL, yeah, this, I want to catch these as close to that 10-period moving average as I can. Where would I be waiting to if I'm not going to wait for a bar reversal. Once again, that goes against what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to fade, give myself a good position. Might be wrong. And when you're wrong, you got to adhere to it and put your stops in and just let them stop you out. But I like my odds, and the same thing go with the long side on this. I'll take that. Thank you. It's the green one. You see the green line? This is the only one we're looking at, the daily chart. See that green line? Hit it to a T. Yep. All right, so let me share this I'll sell that to you. I'm gonna drop it in the chat window, guys. There you go, it's in there. And yeah, keep that as part of your repertoire. I think you know, in markets like this, you can find some really good if you're into short selling. Will this work differently from Steve's pop-ups? It's kind of the same. Steve stole my "I'll take that, thank you." He's good at doing that and giving it a different name. Yeah. He did that with the A table as well, but that's okay. I don't mind. He tweaks it a little bit, so that's fine. He can do that. He tweaks it a little bit and gives it a different name. That's fine, but it's the same principle. Who was that asked that? Was it Randy? Yeah, it's the same principle. Probably just a little bit different, maybe some different filters. All right, so what I was looking for today is, you know, I've been noticing some of these stocks kind of just setting up near, you know, 3-month lows that I know are good companies, good in a sense of where they have good revenue growth, make a lot of money, and you know, I want to get just a simple scan where I could, you know, find this opportunity. So what I built, and I built a couple of them, probably the one that's most important to me is this revenue growth. And let's take a look at it. It's very simple. It's simple to my Let's Go Fishing, except these all have to have revenue growth of, I think I used 20%. Let's take a look. This is just a scan. That's not alert. I guess you could make it into alert, but honestly, I like these better as a scan, and then I just put my what I'm looking for, price alerts in there. All right, so position, and remember we have the 3-month range now, guys. We had 3 months of the range. So now I am telling this, I want these stocks to be in the lower 20% of their 3-month range. If we click on our show me button, it's not going to tell me anything. Why is it doing that? Why is it not spelling it out for me, Jamie? I don't know.
Oh, on the position 3-month range?
Yeah.
You know, because that's those are relatively new filters, and I think they just may have forgotten to include that module yet. We need to remind them to do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, that's for sure. So anyway, take my word for it. If you use a max of 20%, okay, the stock has to be in the lower 20% of its 3-month range. So I'm looking for things that's kind of been beaten up over the last 3 months. Okay, but the position in 10-day range, just the opposite. Okay, it's looking for a minimum of 80, which means, this should spell it out for me, the price is at least 80% above the low end of this range. Okay, so they're in the upper portion of their 10-day range. Okay, and also they have to have quarterly revenue growth of 20% or more. That's usually a pretty decent number when you got revenue, you know, growing at that pace or higher. So just put this together pretty quickly today, and I saw some pretty interesting stuff. And Jamie, you saw me. I felt sorry for Michael, because here's one that was showing up in here over the last several days. This is what you have to be careful about using these with alerts. You really never know when they're going to go. Okay, they're just kind of setting up for you. I like to look at some of the fundamentals, and this one, it looks like it's a some sort of it's an ADR, so it looks like a foreign bank. I'm not sure where. SA South America maybe. But anyway, nice little bottoming pattern. Okay, you have you know, a stock that has nice revenue growth of, look at that, 93%. You cannot just assume, okay, anything when it comes to fundamentals, okay? Technicals first, fundamentals second, is the way I like to play it. Look here, Facebook's on this, okay? Facebook is one that I've been in all the way from down here for a while now. Disappointed it hasn't moved a little quicker, but it's taking its time, but it's still kind of intact. but showing up on here. Nice revenue growth, 27%. Uh, wonder what happened. Oh, Netflix was on here earlier. Let me go back in time here.
Now,
Sure, I'm not
Andy,
sure
real
what
quick
happened.
here,
You know what? I bet it went.
that was the 3-month position and 3-month range that you were using?
Yes, 3. Now I'm going to share this with y'all. Yeah, it's a position in 3-month.
Right. So the position in 3, 6, and 9-month are the newest ones that I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right filter there.
Yep. Yep. I could have used 6 months. I just decided, maybe I could catch more stuff if I used, 3 months. But you could obviously, yeah, you could do this with a 6-month or a 9-month. All right. Let me. Oh yeah, I wanted to go back and look because Netflix was in this thing all morning, but now it's out, and I bet I know why. I bet it closed out of that range, out of that 3-month range. Let's take a look. Go to time frame. We're gonna go back and do a historical date. Let's just go to about 1:51. Let's go to 1 o'clock and see what was in here. There it is. So Netflix, you could have caught this one, this morning, probably right about 3-month, let's see, 10-day range. Yeah, you would have seen this pretty early because once it got above the 80% mark in its 10-day range, we can hover. Yeah, it's so, yeah, this would have been in here quite early, but there you go. And guess what? Roku is showing up in this, okay? If I go back in time to 2 days ago, I think yesterday it had its move. So let's go to Tuesday and see if Roku's in here. There you have it. And that's what made me kind of think of it, that Roku is setting up. I wanted to find something, that CyberArk looking kind of interesting until today. This is why you have to be careful. I'm not sure what happened there. That's an awful little move, but you know what? Netflix did this the other day. That's just our algos that we have. Look at that first. Oh, just probably trying to wipe out everybody before this thing goes. I've seen it over and over. So anyway, wanted to keep an eye on there. And let me share that one. Let me put it back on real time because there's another one in there. Gosh, did it come out as well? Geez, I'm missing. Chug, let me go back. I'm determined. When you see these things in here, mark them up, okay? When I say mark them up, at least put a price alert in there because they can come in and out of this, for some reason. But there's another one in here today, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. Let me see. Let me go to one. This one right here. Why is it not still in there? Gosh, because it had a big move. That's what happened. This would have been here. Here's another one. Look at this beautiful basing pattern right here. And then coming up out of it, you would have got this yesterday, obviously, because it would have been up in there. So you can find some good stuff in here. I'm not sure what happened to this one. Yeah. Well, another ADRs. I'm afraid of ADRs. But anyway, let me share that one with you guys. Revenue growth fishing. I'm just going to put rev. You guys will know what it means. That copy y'all already? All right, and one last one. You're welcome, Waleed, is going to be earnings growth fishing. Same thing. It's the same exact like this, but I'm using earnings growth and I'm using 20% on earnings growth. You guys can look at it. You can see ALGN. Now, why is AGLN in this one at the close of the day, but it wasn't in that one? I'm going to have to do some. That doesn't make sense because obviously its revenue growth was there, and it's at this one it's on the close, isn't it? Nah, it's on a historical date. I'm sorry. We put it on live. No, it's not out. So of the three, BMA is one showing with earnings growth as well as revenues growth. But once again, guys, be careful. I mean, this is a Brazil, I think somebody told me it's a Brazil bank. So, you know, be careful with ADRs. You really have to be, because they also trade, you know, overnight. So they could move around on you pretty hard, and the news may get you. Okay, Anthony says, I think I'm confused as to you being hesitant to use these scans with alerts. Well, geez, I want to short that. Here's what I'm saying. Let me just pull up ALGN. All right, you can use them with alerts, but you know, okay, so example, you would have got alerted right here probably. You would have got alerted right here. You could have, you know, and then you would have got alerted right here. You know, at what point is it going to go? This is why I would rather just kind of use these as scans. Now they'll start coming in your scans. This is, you know, bottoming processes can be a long time, Anthony. You're not sure where it's going to go. A lot of times what I will do in things like this, I used to do, is play options, longer term options, where, you know, I won't be, you know, jigged out on every one of these little moves back and forth. Because the bottoming process can take some time. Okay, so when you see these down here on their first move, be careful, because they can take some time. This one, you know, it looks good right now, but who knows, tomorrow it can come slam back down, you know, maybe come back down to these moving averages. And they're not all going to work, you know. Remember, these are in a, they're close to a 3-month low. Okay, so these are not beautiful charts on a technical basis. As far as the longer term picture goes, or at least the last 3 months. So you got to be careful, and these will give you some good ideas. These are ones that I will play with small size, especially at first, and then maybe add, you know, maybe add as they're coming out, but of that area. But when you're wrong, you have to get out. You know, like this ALGN, if it breaks this lower level down here, you got to get out. All right, but anyway, you know, you can find some potential good setups in that. And instead of getting a lot of junk, you know, you at least know these have good revenue growth or some good earnings growth over here. Why did I stop using options? I haven't really stopped. I just don't use them as much as I did. Okay, I am just trading a little bit differently. I used to be going for, you know, bigger. When I used to trade totally for a living, I was going for bigger move. I mean, you know, bigger, making a lot more money in stocks. Now I don't do that as much. It's more, you know, casual swing trading. So I just find it easier to trade the common. But that's just me. Back when I was, you know, totally trading for a living and day trading, I would buy options sometimes a lot to when I would see certain setups like that Roku, because I know a pop was potentially ready and I could make a lot of money on that 2-day pop. All right, let me share this earnings growth with you, and then I got to get Scott in here to sign us off and to offer you guys a discount. I'm just going to type in earnings. And let me do, did I already do share and copy all? And there you have it. And with that note, Jamie, I'm gonna have, if you don't have anything else, I'm bringing Scott in here to walk us out.
Nope, I'm all good. Good stuff, Andy. Great scans.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks. So the Trade Ideas Summit, with a great lineup of thought leaders in the financial fintech industry area, is fast approaching. We've still got a few tickets left, so go to trade-ideas.com/summit if you can make it to San Diego and use that code SummitSD. Save 30% off the retail price of the ticket. If you can't attend, then go to trade-ideas.com/livestream and sign up to get information about how to watch it live and then watch the replay afterwards. If you have any questions, just visit either of those landing pages. They have they have the entire agenda, all the speakers. We've got a great lineup, so at least check it out. Make sure you're signed up for the live stream. If you're within driving distance, just come on down, get that ticket. It's catered. It's got a happy hour at the end with an open bar. You can't miss that kind of networking opportunity. It's so much better live. We've also got 3 ebooks that came out recently. trade-ideas.com/setup is the URL to go to get them all. 2 chapters per book. Each chapter is written by one of our educators. Both Jamie and Andy contributed a chapter each. We have cloud links in some of the chapters to some of the strategies discussed, so it's totally worth your while to sign up and get it. As a podcast, should have a new one out tomorrow. Just search for Trade Ideas Podcast, whatever app you listen to podcasts in, and add us as a subscription. We have got a discount code that's good for the rest of the month. It's fall into savings, all caps, just like you'll see it on your screen. That's also good for the same discount off of an upgrade from standard to premium. We're going to have the recording of this up later on tonight or tomorrow, and you'll get an email with a reminder of how to find it. If any questions, email us info@trade-ideas.com. Follow Jamie on Twitter @QuantBot, and we've also got @TodayTrader and @TradeIdeas. Facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro is the best place, the place to go on Facebook to find us and like us. But shoot any questions you have to the info@email address. It's the best place to send them. Thanks, Andy and Jamie. Thanks all for attending. Have a good one.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.